Hi, I'm Michael.
And I'm Carleen. We've got 2 kids and a dog, and 6 years ago, we bought this house.
After 6 years, it's still nowhere near finished.
Oh, God.
We had a crack at reality TV with plans to finish the Reno.
That was not a huge success.
We're pretty...
We walked away with $10,000 for over 3 months' work.
So, after 6 years, we're still renovating.
Slowly. So now we're going out in search of great design ideas.
We're looking for inspiration.
We're helping others put their renovations together. They've got their work cut out for them.
And learning a few things along the way.
And hopefully, we'll find the balance between business, family, and finally finishing our dream home.
Today, we've headed up to Brisbane to meet the owners of this gorgeous Ashgrovian Queenslander, young married couple, Stella and Paul.
Hey, Michael. Nice to meet you.
Paul and Stella are young parents like we are, and they've bought what's called an Ashgrovian Queenslander in inner city Brisbane. It's so cute.
It's had one owner, so it's basically been untouched
That's awesome.
and ready for us.
That's the kind of Reno you want?
Yes.
All right, let's have a look.
Come through.
Oh, wow.
Have a go at those ceilings.
That is amazing. And look at this wall detailing.
For their 1930s Ashgrovian Queenslander, Stella and Paul have decided to go for restoration rather than renovation. They're taking out their old kitchen, removing a wall and creating a master bed and ensuite.
The master bath will get a period overhaul. The wall between the master bed and the study will be removed to create a kitchen and dining room with a small study nook. The bay windows in the living room and kitchen will both become window seats.
French doors will be added and a deck leading down to the new alfresco entertaining area. The entire front yard will be levelled using retaining walls, giving their young kids a place to play.
And look at the detail in that ceiling. That's really unique and hard to find.
Okay, so this is going to be your lounge room, your TV room. What about like the bedrooms? Whereabouts are they?
Yep, master bedroom is just around the corner.
Yep, let's have a look.
The house is what's called an Ashgrovian Queenslander. It's an original late 1920s home, and it's only ever had one owner, so nothing had been touched, which is exactly the type of renovation that we love.
So this will be the master bedroom.
Okay.
It used to be the old kitchen.
Okay.
Understanding, yeah.
Yeah, right.
So you'll have an ensuite.
Yeah, a few steps down to the ensuite
Okay.
and laundry.
There used to be a wall there separating the rooms. We've knocked that out
Yeah.
and just opened up
Yeah.
a little bit more.
Awesome.
I love this. This is like so old. All the old horsehair in the wall.
So you guys clearly have a lot of work to do. Who's doing it?
We do. Our builders are Zoo Build.
Okay.
And they're actually just through the kitchen now if you want to go have a chat.
Let's have a chat to 'em.
Let's do it. After meeting Paul and Stella, we walked into the kitchen to meet Chris and Crystal, the builder and designer.
Crystal.
Hello.
Hey guys.
The house has got heaps of potential. It's got beautiful ornate ceilings and the windows are amazing. So it can definitely all be restored to its original beauty, yeah.
I want to talk about time frame. Well, how long do you guys think it's going to take? Walking through the house, there's so much to do. There's walls to be replaced. There's doors to get cut in. Kitchen, 2 bathrooms. There's just so much to do.
I estimate it'll take about 6 weeks for the inside.
They've pretty much given themselves 6 weeks. 6 weeks?
Don't mess around.
To me, 6 weeks is not nearly enough time.
You guys are crazy.
Yeah, we try and knock them over.
Chris and Crystal, the builder and the designer, are good friends of Paul and Stella's.
And having a close relationship as well means that Chris and Crystal are really invested to make this house the best it can be, but on the lowest budget.
Or they'll just have a massive fallout, budgets will be blown.
They'll never talk again.
Yeah.
Could go either way.
Stella and Crystal had to pop down to early settler, so Carleen decided to tag along.
And I think she learnt a valuable lesson, which is 3 is a crowd.
Crystal and Stella already had an idea of what they wanted for the bathroom, and being that it's a classical home with a lot of history, they decided that a pedestal basin would be the best look for that bathroom.
I really like that look.
Well, then you should address the storage issue with your eye level. Being that it's a family home, it provides absolutely no storage. So toothpaste, toothbrushes, hand soap, tissues, anything you would normally put on the counter ends up balanced around the taps like this. If I had to live with it, it would drive me batty. So there's your dilemma.
I like this.
It's a little bit tricky in these situations when there's a designer already in the mix, because when I come in and join the party,
Could work.
there's, it's hard to not step on toes. If I were you, I would be choosing something more like this, where you've got a mirror that's going to fill out the wall and a vanity with storage.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily sure that that will translate. Okay. So I think the bottom line is here, you have a lot to think about.
I do.
So we just went to Early Settler, and Carlene has definitely put a spanner in the works.
Now they're talking about having a bigger vanity. I haven't told you this yet. So we need to talk.
One of the things I am trying to push them on is that you really can't have too much storage, especially having young children, toys, clothes. They need more of it, so they're going to have to work on that.
I think these guys, they've got such a tight timeline. It's 6 weeks.
These guys are experienced, so I think the timeline is probably true to what they usually work to.
Come 6 weeks, I'll be very surprised if these guys are in.
It's just that we see all these tiny little details and think, oh my God, they got their work cut out for them.
Coming up,
Well, we went against Carlene's advice.
Go on, playback.
welcome back to Ready Set Reno. This week we're visiting young mum and dad Stella and Paul, who've just purchased this gorgeous 3-bedroom Ashgrovian Queenslander in the Brisbane suburb of Holland Park.
So this is an original 1930s home. It's so exciting to come to a house that has been completely untouched. Before moving in, they've hired their mates Chris and Crystal of Zoo Build to renovate. Their plan is to have the interiors completed within 6 weeks.
We've moved most of our stuff into my parents', used
Joy.
Paul's parents for a bit of storage, and we're living at my parents'.
So if we can go under the 6 weeks, fantastic.
We were really relieved to know that they are going to do their best to try and restore those original features. They've got beautiful ornate ceilings, the corner scenes, big skirting boards. It's stuff you don't see every day because a lot of renovations have been hacked at. And speaking of hacking,
I can't remember how this thing goes on.
Michael has learnt nothing from last week's episode where he got on the tools and cut a 100-year-old recycled beam 20 mil too short. So he's going in again, this time to help Chris with his window seat.
So that's looking down from the top, so that's all going to open.
Correct.
So we'll pull off those mouldings.
Yep.
And we'll start ripping this up, mate. Chris set me this task, which was pretty straightforward enough. Remove the skirting, try to retain it because, this skirting is probably over 80 years old.
Oh, I have to say, when he puts on a tool belt, he's not as cracked up as what he likes to think he is.
Turns out I was a little bit heavy-handed.
Heavy-handed?
I'm a bit more...
Shocking.
I'm a bit more of a go in there, get it done sort of guy. I'm not really good at the neat little stuff that
it's
takes
like
patience.
Close enough is good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing to see here. Completely destroyed this piece of skirting.
He's a good bloke, so it's okay.
I personally think that it was impossible to get that out intact. And that's why he told me to do it, because he wanted to blame me. That's what I think.
Our next stage from here is basically to work on some finishes. We need to put some plasterboard up on these walls, work on some colour choices and start working on the mud room.
Later in the show, we'll be back to see the finished product. I can't wait.
Back at our house in Tallabudra, there's been some progress at last. We've had the slab cut up and removed. Next up, the lower rear wall of our monster house is demolished. It takes me a couple of days to tidy up the edges before the brick pillars go in to support the slab above. And now the reinforcements have arrived. The boys dig trenches for the footings for the new walls, and the concrete pump fills the footing with over 35 cubic metres of concrete. The brickies come in for the retaining walls, and now the entire site is level, ready for construction. And so after a couple of weeks of vigorous activity, we are once again out of money.
So I'm just up in Brisbane today. I've just got a job I've got to price. Carlene's at home doing some design work, so I thought while I'm up here I'll pop in and see how Paulie and Stella are going with their build. Chris has given them a timeline of 6 weeks. I think it's going to take a lot longer. So it'll be interesting to see. I think we're at week 4, exactly where they're up to. And when I got there, you know, progress was definitely underway, and Chris was installing a little porch deck. Mate, Chris, tell me about this product. I've never seen this before. This is your decking?
Yes, so what we've got here is a new product from Wilson Timbers, Deckmate DIY, and it basically uses this clip and this screw, and it comes with a already pre-cut groove in the board.
Yep.
Clip goes in, screw goes in.
Right.
And
right, so in TV land, if your phone is on while you're filming and it rings, oh, you get it? That's a slab for the crew. Basically this clip that eliminates any sort of top fixing.
that's right, so what we're trying to do is eliminate top fixing, where water can pool and rot out the timber.
Yeah, that looks great. Because, I mean, there's no more... While I was on site, caught up with their painter. Hey mate, Michael.
Michael Taz, how are you?
He's a champion, you know, he's a second generation painter.
So Dad was a painter, and I took over from the business 15 odd years ago.
Walking down that hallway and even in this room, there's patches everywhere. You've obviously done a lot of patch work. What product are you putting on top of all that?
Well, on the ceilings we're using Dulux ceiling flat, but on the walls we're using a wash and wear mat. The old restoration of this house, some of the walls aren't 100% straight, so we really want to hide some of those imperfections in the walls, and the mat's going to hide it really well.
Back out on the landing, I'm really keen to have a crack at this Deckmate DIY. Because one day, in the not too distant future, I've got a whole lot of decking to do at ours. And this seems like it might be the way to go.
Nice even 6mm bead across the tops of each joist.
The thing I like best about that is that's providing separation, so you've got nowhere for water to...
It is, so you also don't require any sort of joist protector.
Cool. All right, then slide this in.
So we want to slide that in, and with the Deckmaster clamp, we can then...
Oh yeah, you used that before?
We can then put a bit of tension on it.
Yep.
Grab a clip.
Use screw there.
Along with the screw, and what you want to do here, the trick to this is just to put it on a slight angle.
Oh yeah, roger that.
So you want to apply the bead.
Now, as much as I like learning about new materials, this started to feel a lot like work.
Looks like you're out of here.
I'm out.
Coming up,
Let's just say I've got a possum under my sink.
welcome back to Ready Set Reno. We're following young couple Stella and Paul as they restore this beautiful Ashgrovian Queenslander in the Brisbane suburb of Holland Park. Today, I find myself at Edge Tiles in Capalaba, where Stella and her interior designer Crystal were in need of some expert advice. But Carlene was busy, so they got me instead. Now, Edge Tiles is full of some cool stuff, which personally I don't know that much about, plus I'm easily distracted.
Hey mate, do you need a hand or are you right browsing?
Yeah, I'm chasing 2 girls and a baby. Have you...
Over this way.
And this is nice too, and I think with the black pencil.
Michael, we're over here.
How you going?
Hey, hello.
Good to
Hi,
see you call the
Michael.
experts in.
Thank you for coming
Hey.
on such short notice.
That's all right.
We need some advice.
Yeah?
We don't know what to do for the bathrooms.
So
Okay.
we're loving these mosaics.
Yeah, I love those mosaics.
Yeah,
So what are you thinking? So this mosaic for the floor in that small space?
Then if
Yeah.
we have just the white on the floor, isn't it a bit plain? We need
Something to break
little-
it up a bit. What about if we did a flower? A black flower in amongst the white?
Well, that would suit the theme of the bathrooms.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
need them to
definitely.
look quite
Geez, your
traditional.
tiler's going to hate you.
Yeah,
Now, what Crystal is suggesting is that in each 1 foot sheet to have the tiler pop out 6 white mosaic tiles and replace them with black, creating a repeating flower pattern, which sounds great until you multiply it by a couple of 100 times across 2 bathrooms.
I think this is going to look very Victorian.
The clawfoot bar.
Yeah.
Look
The
good.
pedestal vanity.
Yep.
Hang on a minute. I thought we talked about swapping out the pedestal vanity for a better storage solution.
Oh, God. Playback. If I were you, I would be choosing something more like this, a vanity with storage.
Yeah.
I think too, because design is so subjective, so...
The clawfoot bar.
Yeah.
Look
The
good.
pedestal vanity.
Yep. I would just certainly get a price from your tiler to individually pick these little tiles out. I don't know a tiler in the world that's going to do that, but they assure me they've got someone, so we'll see what it looks like.
We might make a phone call, hey?
Yeah.
Back at Holland Park, the build is running slightly longer than the 6 weeks, but it's looking great and getting close to finished.
The retaining walls around the front yard are in, the exterior paint is looking good, and the outdoor patio is taking shape too. Probably the last major job before Stella and Paul move back in is to have Snowdonia Air Conditioning install this Actron split system climate control air conditioner. But the Snowdonia boys have hit a snag. A small, furry and very angry snag.
As they're installing their ducts, they've disturbed this possum and, you know, he's running around everywhere and ends up in the kitchen.
Looks like they've caught a bad case of possum under the sink.
Let's just say I've got a possum under my sink. Yeah, they had to call a possum catcher in and get him out. What, you've never heard of having a possum under your sink? Oh, come on.
What is the term?
Fun? So last time we were here, the front yard was a mess, the fence wasn't up, the inside wasn't even painted. So walking down the street, it looks amazing.
Yeah, the house makes a really nice first impression. It's landscaped beautifully. The colours they've chosen for the house exterior are spot on. So we're excited to walk inside and see what they've done with the rest of the house.
So yeah, we've come back for handover day, which is a big day for the builder and the owner. So when we turned up, Chris and Crystal were there to welcome us and showed us through the house.
I love it. Good seeing you again.
Mate, you've done a great job.
I was really impressed that they've included a drop zone / mud room, because a lot of people don't think to include that, but it's a really practical area to basically drop your bags and keys and all the things used for coming and going. This home has some really beautiful details like wall mouldings that you should really highlight if you've got that chance. So I suggested painting the walls in the living room a nice rich warm grey and then painting the mouldings a crisp white just to highlight that. You went all white. What happened to the grey? I was so disappointed to walk into that living room and see that all the walls were white, all the mouldings were white, all the cornices were white, white.
Well, we went against Carlene's advice in the lounge room. She'd suggested that we had grey on the walls.
It's just really unique to have really characterful details in your home. That's just something you don't get in every home. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But I still would have liked to see the contrast.
Yeah.
So we kept the house quite neutral in the lounge, the black and the white, and the colours are through the accessories.
To miss the opportunity of highlighting those, that's a missed opportunity.
So this is Annabelle's bedroom.
Cute.
Yeah.
Look at all the pink. And what's
This is the playroom.
Yeah. Bathroom.
Oh, that is beautiful. Wow.
Kitchen.
Oh, that's stunning.
Walking into the kitchen, it's finished off really nicely. It's really non-polarising, which is going to, serve them well when it comes to resale. We love how they included a bay window in there, which is also ideal for maximising space because, like I said, it's not a huge space to work with, and they've managed to fit in there the kitchen, which is a good size, dining area, and a little office nook.
All the windows throughout the place have been restored, which is an unbelievable amount of work. They had to pull them out, sand them all back and get them repainted. The fact that they've gone to that effort, that really excites me.
I'm excited.
So this is the ensuite / laundry. Love it. Black frames.
Yeah, beautiful. And
So
I
that's
love
turned
these
out really
mosaics
good.
on the floor. People don't do mosaics on the floor enough.
Because most tilers wouldn't go to the effort of putting in each individual tile.
No, but like I said, we do have a good tiler.
That's right.
And look, they went with the pedestal.
Yes, they did go with the pedestals.
It seems in the end that they felt like the pedestal was the best option. I still think it'll drive them batty.
Okay, well, let's head out.
Going.
I'm keen for a cup of tea if you've got some.
I love that you guys have gone to great lengths to try and incorporate and keep all the original features of the home because it's a lot of work.
It has been a lot of work.
We need to talk about the living room.
Ooh,
Yeah.
guilty.
You guys actually got really lucky with these ornate detailed ceilings.
Yeah.
Were they all intact?
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of ornate, Mike, I'm going to drop you a tea and check out the barbecue.
I actually really love the outside area.
Off the kitchen, they've resisted the urge to push out that wall and to build a massive deck. Instead, they've just included two little... I don't get it. Seriously.
I know.
You're 12.
I know it's immature, but I can't handle it when you say a massive deck.
In the kitchen area, they've resisted the urge to include in there a massive veranda. Seriously.
It's a nice patioed area. You can have the barbecue there. You've got the yard where the kids can play. I'm just not 100% on the decision not to roof it.
Mate, how good is this?
How good's my new Barbie, mate?
It's a ripper.
From Barbecues Galore. Good space for the kids, playing in the yard while I'm doing the barbie.
That's the thing about this area is the yard is huge. I'm interested to know though, no roof.
That'll limit the times that you can use it.
Yeah, one day we'll run a vine.
Yeah.
Lettuce as well.
And go for
And over the top, which will help with the
Yeah.
roof situation.
What,
as
so
well.
in 10 years' time, this thing will be undercover?
In 10 years, you'll be looking at grapevines, no?
I actually think this is a really nice sized, maintainable family home for a family of 4 because a lot of people just want to go up and out and just bigger and better. But all you do is create work for yourself, and we know.
Sell yourself here, bud. All you have to say is the best part about renovating a house like Stella and Paul's is the end result, seeing the family enjoy, bringing old to new and seeing them enjoy their end product. I just answered that. I answered it.
They've been really sensitive to the heritage of the building and kept the original intent of the house intact.
I just said that before.
Yeah, so outside, I think Michael was pretty happy with the outcome, what we've done for the kids, a lot of space for them to run around, the skate ramp in the garage. I think he had maybe a bit of concern about no roof on the pergola area, judging by the beads of sweat dropping from his forehead.
Lucky I don't sweat.
Yeah, it's so nice to see the smiles on their face.
And that's what it's all about.
But overall, we're pretty stoked.
Good job.
I'm envious that this place is actually finished. Once we walked through their place, we sort of felt like we may have bitten off a bit more than we can chew.
On the next Ready, Set, Reno.
I so need your help.
Oh, really?
We went from no budget
Yeah,
pretty
no
much
budget.
to...
Everything's getting...
everything.
And at our place, Michael's at it again.
Is that going to be hard to fix?